Have you wondered how I manifest what I'm wanting in life? That's coming up right after this. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mel, for those of you who are new to me. I'm the owner, the creator, the operator of Mel's Divination. I try to post every Wednesday with witchcraft or spiritual things, and sometimes I just rant and rave about stuff or share tarot techniques and tips. Sorry for the close-up, I'm doing something a little different today. So we're doing something a little different today with like setup a little bit. I'm a little bit closer to the camera than usual. If you haven't noticed, it is because it is over close to 100 degrees here, and I do have my air conditioner running for obviously comfort, and I don't have a microphone. So I wanted to make sure you can hear me over the background fan of the air conditioner. So I'm a little close, and I do apologize for that, but it is what it is, and I want to make sure the sound is good. So today I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about manifestation and kind of things that have happened to me in my life. This is a little bit of a special thing that I wanted to share. I was inspired because something happened that came up, and I just was like, oh, I gotta share this with you guys. So I did make notes, and I am gonna go through them. What happened was really interesting because I was literally having a phone conversation with somebody just a few days prior and was saying about how things in my life in general can get really tough or can get really tight money-wise or things like that. Things can get difficult. And I've always learned that universe just takes care of it, or spirit or God, or whatever you guys want to call it. I call it universe, but just always takes care of me. And I have learned to just trust and have faith and not go into those fears and worries, because somehow something always just suddenly works out. And that I was explaining that to somebody that I was having a conversation with, because this pandemic has been difficult for people like me who are self-employed, and I own my own home alone, and it has been a hard situation where clientele is sporadic, and making sure that the bills are getting paid and the finances are stable, which they're not financially with clientele, because who wants a tarot reading or a spiritual support when they have their own things to worry about? It's not a priority. So yeah, so we were just talking about that, and suddenly, boom, 2 days later, which was yesterday, something happened, and it all just fell into place, and universe was like, here you go. And I wasn't working on manifesting it. I was just trusting that things were going to work out for me and I was going to be fine. So I decided to share this with you guys, and I'm not going to share my personal situation. That is personal, it's private. But I decided to share the manifestation thing with you because it really is simple and it's important, and I feel like it's really something that everybody should know and should learn from. And yes, it's law of attraction. Yes, you can focus on that, but I've been doing this since way before I knew what law of attraction was. I didn't know what Abraham Hicks was. I didn't know what law of attraction was. That kind of came way later. So I've always been a powerful manifester from a young age, wanting even when I was like 14, 13, 12, in high school, in middle school, wanting boyfriends. So this goes as far back as that time. Wanting a boyfriend, wanting a specific boy, because when you're in high school, that's kind of what you focus on, at least it was for me. And really wanting this guy. And this is like how it manifested when I was a kid. And really wanting a boyfriend, and it happened constantly, of wanting to date somebody specific, and it would just fall into place, and always getting that boyfriend. And my friends would be like, how does that always work out for you? Because I didn't do anything specific. Like I wasn't like crazy. I wasn't like this gorgeous girl. I wasn't this cheerleader. I wasn't popular. I was the weird goth girl. So how did that always work out? And looking back, it's because I was manifesting it, but I didn't realize that's what I was doing, obviously, at the time. So then as I got older, it was getting and keeping my brand new dream car that I had no means of paying for it. I had no way to pay for it. I just really wanted this car, and I was a substitute teacher, and I had no financial ability. Like, the car payment was almost $400, and then there was insurance and gas, and like, it was almost half my income to get this car, and I managed to get it, to pay for it, and I never missed a payment. And it just worked out, and I just had universe just provided jobs for me so that I could continue to get and keep and pay for this car. Then there was manifesting this house that I now live in. And how did that work out? Because I really wanted a house. I was so tired of living in apartments as a highly sensitive person, which I now know is highly sensitive. I didn't know back then that's what it was. I was exhausted from I moved around a lot. I would find an apartment, and I would move into an apartment, and it would be wonderful for a while, and things would change. There would be new neighbors, and they would be loud, and I would struggle with living in apartments because I needed it to be quieter, and I needed to be able to sleep, and I had certain needs, and maybe that's considered high maintenance. But I realized apartment living didn't work for me, and I needed my own building, my own home that didn't have connecting walls, for my own sanctuary. And so I started manifesting that, and what would it look like, and how many bedrooms did I need, and what kind of space did I need, and here we are. And how could I afford that? Because I couldn't afford that at the time I was substituting, and I obviously couldn't afford that on a substitute pay, and I'd been substituting forever, and I manifested a full-time teaching job that I didn't end up keeping for very long, but it was long enough to get the house, and then I ended up leaving and then going into this field. So I really wanted to share this process so that you guys could learn and know that you can do this too. It's really about a mindset rather than ability. It's about the way that you think and the way that you focus on things. It's not so much about, well, I can't. It's not so much about the skill. It's about how your brain works. And some people have referred to it as mind, thought, magic. I've heard it referred to as that. And so manifestation is a form of magic that you use your head. You don't really need tools. Sometimes I use pen and paper. Sometimes I don't. It really just depends on how focused I am on my outcome and how much I'm thinking of it. Okay? So I wanted to share this with you, and it's really probably something that you guys do as well. I've also manifested negative things because I get anxious, and sometimes I get depressed, and I focus on the negative, and that can be bad. So if you do suffer from mental health illnesses, that can be a problem. It's something that I have also created on the flip side of over worrying. And when you go into that space of negative thought forms, of fear-based thoughts, of lack, that's when you start attracting those things to yourself, and then you can lose the job, lose the relationship, drive things away. You're attracting the negative vibrations, and that's not good either. So it's a double-sided coin. You can do some great things with manifestation, but you can also hurt yourself with manifestation, and that's something to be thought of. So people who overthink, who worry a lot, who have anxiety, fear-based thoughts, depression, this may not be the best approach for you, because if you have a hard time getting out of your own way with those thoughts, you may not want to do this kind of workings. Because when you start repeating those thoughts, like for instance, I manifested some stuff of like, oh, it's gonna go bad, it's gonna go bad, it's gonna go bad, it's gonna go bad, over and over and over and over and over, and it wasn't going bad yet, but guess what? It's basically like you're putting that out there repeatedly, and you're basically begging universe to create that, and then it happens. So you're sending that energy out there so much that then you create that. So you can attract the thing that you're afraid of if you're not careful. And I don't want to scare anybody, but that is the reality. So I do coach people on manifesting, and I've done it a lot. I've helped people create relationships, create jobs, create homes, teach people how to rewire their thinking so that you're not attracting that bad and you're not even realizing that you're doing it. So there's different levels depending on what you're aware of or where you're at, and I do work with clients on that. So if you're interested in any of that, please just send me an email. I will put that somewhere in this video down below, because right now I am working on my website and it is very under construction. So take note also, I am only sharing with you guys like, oh, I manifested a house, I manifested a car, I manifested a job. I'm only sharing things that I have previously manifested, okay? So that's important. You do not, and I am not, sharing with you stuff that I am currently working on manifesting. I'm not telling you about plans I have for either my business or my personal life or my home or anything like that. I'm not sharing that. And there's a reason for that. You do not want to start sharing, okay, like if you want to manifest a business, or if you want to manifest your own home, or you know, let's go with home, and you go and you share it with, even let's say your father. We'll say your father. Dad, this is what I want. This is what I want to get. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to create. And your father thinks you're crazy. You're never going to be able to do that. So now, although your father loves you, he has now pushed these limiting beliefs on you. He's already brought this negative energy into your manifestation, and that's a problem. Well, so he's really just trying to point out where you could fail and trying to protect you, and he means well. He's not trying to hurt your working, but he has. So, and then there's people out there that are jealous who may not say anything negative, but underhandedly been like, I don't want to see her get a house. I don't want to see her succeed. Look at me. Like, I'm stuck in she better not get a house before me. So don't share. Do not share. Let them find out after you have done this, okay? Because people will crap all over your good stuff that you're bringing into you, whether they mean to, or sometimes it's accidental. It's not meaning to. Like, maybe they're well-meaning and they're trying to give you a heads up. Don't share. Don't do it, because then it starts putting negative thoughts in your head, and now it's messing with your way of thinking. Don't do that. Don't feed that, because now they're bringing you down, bringing your vibration down, bringing your manifestation down, bringing the whole thing down, and now you have all these negative thought forms. So do not allow room for people to bring in that wish to fail, because it's sort of in a way adding a curse. And I'm not going to that extent of it, but in a little bit of a way, it's adding a little bit of like, I don't want to see you succeed. Don't go there, okay? So as I look at my notes, I think that's all that. Yeah, so don't even like, just even if you trust them, just don't share that with them, okay? Oh, okay. So one final other thought about this is the reason why, and I mentioned why I was inspired, is because I had a conversation with somebody about trusting universe. So a lot of my approach to this is trusting universe to provide for me. Okay? I mean, the whole like relationship thing I mentioned, so universe providing for me does work also in relationships, but financially driven is a big part of it. So universe providing for me, it can be providing the proper partner, it can be providing the proper finances that I need, it can be providing the proper home, the proper vibrational job, that kind of thing. So you need to kind of tweak it to fit the circumstance, obviously. Provide the proper soul tribe, like the proper friends that are the right vibration to you, that are gonna match if you're trying to find good friends. So, but it's always trusting the universe, trusting your source, trusting your guides to provide for you what is meant for you, okay? Not questioning it. I also stay in gratitude daily. I find things to be thankful for. Often, I start my day being thankful that I have a home, being thankful that I have food, even little things, being thankful that I have a cat that I love unconditionally. Little things to be in gratitude for waking up. If I'm having a hard day, like I find tiny little things to be in gratitude for, just for this earth to be living here. Okay. Also, I keep my needs and expectations reasonable. So, for example, and I wrote this in my notes because I wanted to make sure I gave you a ridiculous example. When I'm manifesting something, I try to manifest stuff that is attainable, right? So I wanted to manifest a car. I didn't try to manifest a car that was like ridiculously priced. I manifested a Subaru. But in like my home, I didn't try to manifest a home that was like a $5 million home on a substitute teacher salary. I manifested a home that was within my budget, okay? So those are two examples. But for outlandish, ridiculous manifestations, because I've worked with clients on like psychic hotlines where I've tried to help them manifest stuff, and they want things that, guys, you just can't. Like you just can't. Like I'm 5 feet tall, all right, height wise. An example of a ridiculous manifestation would be me trying to manifest myself to become an NBA player. I'm almost 40. I'm never going to be able to be an NBA player. I'm female. I'm 5 feet tall. I'm not coordinated. I stink at sports. It's never going to happen, right? So we need to be realistic when it comes to manifestation. So I just gave the NBA example. I'm not going to be an NBA player. I can't try to be an NBA player. That would be very silly. My other example was trying to manifest an unrealistic relationship. So I love the show Supernatural. I love the actor Jensen Ackles. For those of you who may not know who that is, he's a famous actor, okay? I once had a client try to manifest that. So for me to, and that's very unhealthy. So for me to try to manifest Jensen Ackles to leave his wife and suddenly come into my life and fall madly in love with me when I've never even met the man, and I live in the East Coast, upper northeast of the United States, and he lives in Texas, and really, no, not gonna happen. Just no. So make your goals realistic and not be greedy. Also giving back when I can. So that's a big one as well. So like donations or giving to charity, and not hoarding things, not having that lack mentality, because the more you give, it clears room for universe to bring in and give to you. I've always worked very hard. I don't just sit back and ask for a handout. I do my work. I work on myself. I work on my body. I work on my job. Like, I don't just sit and be like, okay, universe, give me my gift. Where's my money? Where is it? No. No, it doesn't work like that. Universe is not going to give you $100,000 because you're sitting on your ass waiting for it. Like, you have to do the work. You have to show up every day, working hard for whatever your dream is, taking those steps, making a plan, contacting people, doing the research, whatever it is your goal is, you have to be actively pursuing that. You can't just suddenly just obsess over it and think it's going to fall into your lap. So that's part of manifestation. You have to be doing some type of steps towards it, okay? That's pretty much it. Also, when it's really, really stressful, don't feed the fears. So when it gets really hard and really scary, don't go into fear, go into trust that universe is taking care of you and it's going to work. Don't be stupid about it. Don't run out and spend $1 million when you don't have $1 million and you don't have enough money to pay your bills. Don't be dumb. But universe will provide for you if you go into trust. So that is pretty much everything I wanted to go over. I'm not going over my step-by-steps of how I manifest. If you want that, you need to reach out to me for coaching. But I gave you a little bit of tidbits. Gratitude, thought forms, thinking about things, being thankful, giving back, and using your mind to process stuff. I may do a little bit more in manifestation. Let me know in the comments below, but I really think that I'd rather talk in coaching with one-to-one because it is so personalized. It really depends where you are on your journey, because self-love is part of it, removing blocks is part of it, and just being aware. And it depends on if you're working on a relationship, if you're working on a career, if you're working on finances, if you're working on what are you working on, what your goal is. So that's where the coaching part comes in. It's a lot easier than doing a fly just flew by, a basic generalized video. So feel free to reach out to me if you're looking for some information on that. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember to trust in your source, your universe, yourself, and stay in gratitude. Bye.